talking about the Buckingham-Pi theorem, there are a few steps, the methodology, the procedure that we take to non-dimensionalize the parameters that are involved in a particular flow situation. The step one is that we list all the parameters that are involved and let n be the number of parameters. For example, when we are considering the drag on a sphere, then the parameters that are involved are force, the velocity, the drag, rho the density, and mu the coefficient of viscosity. So therefore the number of parameters n equals 5. So this is an example. So we need to list down and see how many parameters are there for clear understanding and our working. The second step is that we select a set of primary dimensions. You recall that we mentioned several times that there are 7 basic set of primary dimensions, with the help of which we can calculate the dimensions of all the functions or parameters that are involved in fluid flow. For mass, kilogram, for length it is meter, and for time it is second, and so on. So we have done it many times. And the step 3 is that we list the dimensions of all parameters and let R be the number of primary dimensions. I mentioned about that we can compute the dimensions of all parameters in terms of the basic parameters that are to be denoted here by, for example, by R. So for drag, there were 5 parameters, but we need only 3 parameter with the help of which we can calculate everything else. And that can be seen from this little table here, that force will have dimensions of ml over t square. So there are m, there is l length, and there is time. Velocity is distance over time, so it has a dimension of L divided by the time t. Drag is L. The density rho is mass per unit volume, so it will have mass divided by L cube, and similarly the coefficient of viscosity is mass over Lt. And this is the diameter of the sphere, in which, because that is also a parameter, and the diameter is only a length. So it has a dimension of length. So you can see that there are 5 parameters which are playing role, which are dimensional quantity, and they are playing role while calculating the drag for a sphere in the flow. But the basic fundamental dimensions that we require to calculate them are only 3: mass m, length L, and time t. So see the difference. This will help us to simplify the problem and also to help the problem in an easier manner. In the next step, we try to set up the groups by using the dimensionless parameters. And again, referring to while considering the problem of drag on a sphere, we observe that pi 1 will have dimensions rho into v into d into f, and then c calculate its dimension. And since we have to make all the quantities dimensionless, therefore on the right hand side we have written that we need to make all these quantities dimensionless. So on the right hand side we see 0 dimensions, but on the left hand side the dimensions are shown to be, their powers are shown to be by a, b, and c. And pi 1 is a ratio, a dimensionless ratio, which is trying to show us the value, the one that we have selected. Then we check to see that each group obtained is dimensionless. Then we need to verify that each one of them is a dimensionless quantity. So these dimensions are written here, and you can see, and we have to make them dimensionless. So they are computed, and we ensure that all the quantities that has been calculated are dimensionless. The groups normally, the dimensionless groups normally that we develop, that we read into when we are considering a particular fluid flow problem, these groups vary from problem to problem, depending upon which forces are acting, which forces are playing dominant role. And when we consider the dimensionless quantities, you will see that they result in a particular dimensionless parameter. Those parameters, as we have stated a number of times, are named after the scientist who first of all found them or discovered them. And you can see that the Reynolds number is very common, most commonly used parameter, dimensionless quantity. It's a ratio of rho, V, rho the density, V the velocity, L the length, and the coefficient of viscosity mu. The same thing can be written as VL over nu, because as we know, nu is equal to mu over rho. So we can write this as nu, and again you will see that while they are dimensionless numbers, they have also a significance inbuilt into them. The significance is that if this is VL, it's trying to show us the kind of momentum forces, the effect of momentum forces, because with velocity you have momentum, and in the denominator we have nu. Therefore, what is Reynolds number implying? It is implying that it is the ratio of momentum forces and the viscous forces. Likewise, Mach number is ratio of velocity, momentum, and speed of sound. So everything is compared. Normally we try to compare with the speed of sound, and you may have heard of aeroplanes flying with Mach number greater than 1 or 2, and that's a well-known thing. The Freud number is a ratio of momentum forces and the gravitational forces, because in the denominator the gravity is acting. Gravity is a force, and therefore it's a ratio that is reflecting the ratio of momentum forces and the gravitational forces. Similarly, the Weber number, and here the ratio is taken with momentum forces are taken with the stress forces and so on. So similarly, Euler number, Euler equation is obtained from the Navier-Stokes equation by considering that the fluid is ideal, and anyway, in that case the pressure force is more important, and therefore this is the ratio of pressure forces and momentum forces. The cavitation number is having this value as indicated. Again, this is the ratio of pressure as well as the velocity.